Hi, my name is Sean McGhee. I'm the principal bass trombonist of the Akron Symphony, and I'm here today to teach you a little bit about the trombone and demonstrate what it sounds like. The first thing we're going to do is just listen a little bit to the trombone. I've got two different passages of music. They're from a piece we played last year in the orchestra called Mahler Symphony No. 5. They demonstrate two things that the trombone does really well and that composers ask them to do fairly often. The first is a fanfare announcing something exciting with loud brass. The next passage demonstrates some scary or intimidating music, something also the trombone is asked to do fairly often in the orchestra. Now that you know what the trombone sounds like, let me teach you a little bit about how I make that sound on the instrument. First, I start by vibrating my lips and blowing air through them. When I put that onto the mouthpiece, it sounds like this. It sounds kind of silly, but when I put it in the instrument, it makes a much nicer sound. You might have noticed this very long slide here that I move with my arm. That's very special and unique to the trombone. It lets me change the sound from low to high. You'll notice I'm now holding a different trombone. This trombone is a copy of an instrument from about 1600, and it shows you what the trombone would have looked like a long time ago. Pretty similar, actually, and the trombone is a little bit older than that even, dating to about 500 years ago. But that slide has always been special in allowing the trombone to play notes that other brass instruments couldn't play, especially down in the low bass range. I'm going to play for you a little example of a piece you might have heard the trombone play over 400 years ago. Let's go back to modern times, and I'll tell you a little bit about the trombones you'll see in the orchestra today. We'll start with the bass trombone, which is the instrument that I play most often in the orchestra here in Akron. And I'm going to play a little bit just so you can hear what that sounds like. The bass trombone is a little bit wider size tube, and it has two valves, and that lets me play down to the low notes, even as low as a tuba sometimes. The next instrument I have to introduce is the tenor trombone, It's the most common or typical trombone you'll see in elementary school and high school bands. We use them in the symphony. Some of them have valves and some of them don't. You can see it's smaller than the bass trombone, smaller bell, smaller tubes, and it gets a little bit of a more directed sound. I'm going to use this to play the two middle parts of the piece we're putting together here. The last instrument I have to introduce to you today is the alto trombone. You can see it's much smaller. It still works the same way with the slide, but it plays higher and has a smaller sound, almost more like a trumpet. This alto trombone is going to play the highest part of this quartet that we're putting together. Then, when we put all four of those parts together on the three different kinds of trombones, you can hear what a trombone quartet sounds like in this piece called Suite for Four Trombones by Alfred Hornoff. Thanks so much for joining me to learn about the trombone today.